This episode is brought to you by twolinedmusichutstore.com. Twolinedmusichutstore.com is your all-access to culture. Check out cultural merchandise like leggings, hats, mini boxing gloves, and bags. Also t-shirts like hip-hop, nature, rock bands, reggae, and dark fantasy. Fast shipping worldwide. That's twolinedmusichutstore.com. Now let's check out this episode. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Muscle, and this is another Two Line Music Hut's Entertainment Report podcast. And today we have a really special guest in the building. Listen, this lady's been singing from the early 90s until right now. You heard hits from her on Penthouse, Shocking Vibes, and so much more. She is the Grammy Award-winning voice. You know we have in the building today? We have Twiggy in the building today. What's going on, my sister?
Hey, Muscle. Guess what? I've been trying to build some muscles for a while now, and now I have muscles all to myself. How are you?
All to yourself. I'm amazing. And yourself?
I am great. Just a little tired, but I'm fine.
Yeah, all right. First thing I got to say to you is Happy New Year. Welcome to 2022. You understand?
Thank you so much, and Happy New Year to you too. And I hope it will be a wonderful year for you going forward.
Definitely, I agree. All right. On this podcast, we like to go right from the beginning and bring it right up to 2022. So my first question for you is this. Where do you grow up in Jamaica, and what type of child were you?
I grew up in the Adley Park region, and more of a not a rich lifestyle. But we were poor, but we grew up like middle class children. So I would say in general, I was a good child. I lacked for nothing. You know, I went to, some of the best schools, and I had a good childhood, very shy, but it was all about schoolwork and stuff, and, just going to church and just being a good child overall.
Good to go. And growing up, what do you think you were going to get into, or what do you think you were going to be growing up?
I really thought I was going to be, maybe at that age, I thought I was going to be a nurse or a doctor or maybe an air hostess. Everybody used to want to be air hostess back then. Now they call them flight attendants, but air hostess was our word at the time. Yeah, but also I know, since growing up a little, and I guess a little older now, I know that I think I have a law thing in me. So even now, I still want to go study law. But, when I was younger, it was always like nurse, doctor, and the whole works.
The typical stuff that a lot of Black people look up to, which is doctor, lawyer, accountant, nurse, those type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Okay, so then this is the one. When did you discover your voice or even discover music?
Since I was like maybe age 5 or so, I knew I always liked to look in the mirror and sing like Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, Tina Marie, quite a few people. And, I used to go to church, and even as a little baby, I was involved in the church choir, and not only the baby choir, but the grown people choir. So, I knew from that time that I could sing, that I could, I loved singing. Yeah.
Okay. So then now you're in church, you like singing, you're young and everything. So then growing up, did you enter any talent competitions or anything where you started to actually groom your voice?
Actually, no, because as I said before, I was a very shy child. So even though I knew I could sing and I love singing, I just kept it for home. I didn't want to go out there. I actually never wanted to go out there and display my talent at all. I remember one time in high school, they shoved me into this talent competition, and it was traumatizing for me. But I pushed through because, I have the tendency, even when I'm traumatized, people wouldn't know, I'm a good actor. Yeah, very good. So I came second in that competition, by the way,
Okay. And what did that do for your confidence at that time there?
Nothing. I was just glad it was over. Like, seriously glad it was over, because as I said before, I was never interested in going out there to sing. I love singing, but it was just all about me singing on my veranda or in my kitchen or my bathroom. And my sister, I had another sister that we used to sing like and do harmonies together on the veranda to all the songs on the radio and stuff. But that was it for me. I never thought of going any further with it.
Yeah. So when did it actually start to take hold of your life and you started to move towards getting in the industry?
I did not move towards it. That same sister that I used to sing with, she, when we were all grown people now and she had moved out and she lived on her own, she became neighbors with Tinga Stewart. And Tinga Stewart now, I guess she just was messing around, because in my family, my mother and father weren't into the children getting involved in stuff like that. You know, it was all about the typical lifestyle and whatever. You know, even though my father was a jazz musician in the army, okay. You know, he was a jazz musician in the Jamaican army too. So, but they never wanted that for us. So, you know, it was my sister now. She jokingly, I guess, said something to Tinga. Said, "Oh, my little sister can sing, you know, you should hear her out." Tinga took it and ran with it and said, "Okay, I'm going to give her an audition." So when she came to me, you know, and said, "Okay, Tinga Stewart wants to give you an audition," I'm like, "Oh, who?" And that was how it happened. You know, he took me to Penthouse. That was my first time going into the studio, doing anything at a professional level. You know, and going in front of all these big stars and stuff, that was my first time. So I was dragged into the music.
Do you remember what you sang at that audition for Tinga?
Actually, it was a brand new song that he was recording. I think he had recorded it in Miami. And then he took it down to Kingston, Jamaica to do, I guess, some overdubbings and harmonies. Mm-hmm. And it's called, oh my God, Love Again. Mm-hmm. Love Again. You should look up that song. You have never heard Tinga sing like that before. It was kind of like an R&B, kind of soul kind of song. It wasn't reggae. Mm-hmm. It was like really amazing. And actually my sister and myself, we went around there to do the harmonies together, because that's how he was giving me the audition to do harmonies, really. It wasn't to sing as a lead vocalist. Okay. So I guess Tinga must have said, you know, we can get some free harmony off our audition, you know. So Tinga put me and my sister around there in the booth, and my sister at the time, she was, you know, she's very bougie, you know, and she was working with telephone company at the time, you know, and she was in a top position at telephone company. So when they kept on, the engineer kept on telling us to stop and start, because she was more or less slow, she got a little ticked off, and, you know, in these exact words, she says, "Oh, I don't need this. I never came here for this. I don't need this. So I am not about to let anyone stop me and start me all over again. I'm getting out of here." So she left me alone around there. And I ended up doing it all by myself in like no time. And Tinga was so impressed with that. He ran with it. And he took it to the likes of like Boris Gardiner and Roddy Thomas and Derek Harriott and quite a few people, Sugar Minot, you know, Charlie Chaplin, you know, quite a few people. And then everybody just swooped me up under their umbrellas, and that was it.
So it's like you got into the music industry by accident. You had the skill, but you didn't have the will to want to come in. But your sister pushed you in, and then she left you in there.
If I tell you, she just dragged me and just throw me out there in a little pen. Because she not even realizing how rough music is. So she just drag her little sister and just throw in a little pen and then leave me there. And it's like, oh, MG. But you know, it was pretty amazing. And there was where it all started, as you said, by accident.
Mm-hmm. What was it like hearing yourself actually on a recording now, besides you and your sister doing it live and stuff like that in the backyard? What was it like to hear yourself on a recording?
The first time I heard myself on recording, I'm not even sure how I reacted. I think I freaked because that was like me. And then, you know, when you do harmonies, you stop them. So if it's you alone, you end up doing 6 vocals and 3 different voices and stuff, and 3 different notes and stuff. So it's like, wow, that's me. Like, oh, cool. That's so cool, you know? And the first time I heard myself on the radio, big things. Big things, everybody be a call, but on the radio.
And what year did that song actually come out? What year is this?
That song came out 1989. Yeah.
So that was your venture into the business. Okay, Tinga took you. You guys did the harmony and stuff. What was your next move in the business then?
My next move, I didn't make any move. You know, the moves were made for me. As I said before, I was dragged into this thing because after Tinga ran with it now, like, as I said, Boris Gardiner and all these people, they took me under their wings and they started doing studio work with me. And then Boris Gardiner started taking me out to do events with him, you know, as a background vocalist, and also to sing with him live on stage and stuff. And so I did quite a few events with Boris Gardiner. I ended up getting involved in doing like radio commercials and even TV commercials and stuff. There's one in Jamaica that still plays up to this day, where it's Nadine Salalan and myself, from north to south, east to west, island there is in Jamaica's best, you know. Yeah. So, and then after that, you know, as I said before, Tinga also introduced me to Sugar Minott, Charlie Chaplin, Tristan Palmer, you know, a lot more people out there, and they also took me under their wings. So I had so many mentors, you know, so many people that were watching over me, protecting me, and making sure that I got this thing right and the whole works, and, you know, and it just started off from there. And then after that, I don't remember how I met Toots from the Maytal's son, his son, and he made me do an audition with his sisters for the group 5446. And 5446 now, because of 5446 now, I ended up singing with Toots as a Maytal. So a whole heap of things. Trust me, we would take days for me to tell you all the different things that transpired.
Mm-hmm. So, wow. So you're meeting all this. While all of this is happening, do you consider this a career, or you're just doing this whenever it came around?
I think I was in a more euphoric state where it was more surreal to me. So I wasn't even sure if it was a career. I wasn't sure of anything. I was just going with the flow. You know, I just kept on just moving, and that was it.
Mm-hmm. And did your sister ever come back, or she was just gone and never came back?
No, sir. She couldn't bother with that. She said, oh, no, this is not for me. This is so not for me.
Yeah. Okay, so then you met Toots. You're in his band now. Okay, so you're doing background vocals live for him.
Yes.
Okay. Was he the first person you actually traveled with?
Yes.
Okay.
He was the first person that took me on tour.
Where did you go? Where was the first place you went when you left Jamaica?
The first place I landed was in Manhattan, New York. And I felt like I was in heaven or somewhere, pure bright lights. And that was my first time in America, you know. So it was like big things for me. Winter coat and them something there, you know, like Oliver.
Yeah.
before we even leave Jamaica, we had a winter coat. Yeah, but yeah, but yeah, Manhattan was the first place I landed. That, and because of that, I have this special love for Manhattan. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because that's your first. You always remember that part there in particular.
Yes, and I think it's such a lovely place, to go to anyway.
Mm-hmm. Very stimulating because there's always something to do, always something to see.
Yeah, and they never sleep.
Never. All right, so you're now on the road with Toots. What was your first tour like with Toots? Because remember, you said you're shy, you don't really like all. How did you handle being on the stage, especially with such a star like Toots?
Well, the good thing about it, I was young and I was shy, but Toots, he took me like another father figure, apart from my father. He was like another father to me. So, he actually introduced us because it was myself and his two other daughters, Mm-hmm. So we were considered like a family. So he introduced me like his youngest daughter. Mm-hmm. So, he kind of pet and powder me while I was out there and whatever. And I realized then that I had an innate ability to perform. Mm-hmm. And that I was very quick at what, with the whole music thing and the whole harmony thing, because to work with Toots is not a simple thing. Toots is a very complicated individual when it comes on to music. And if you are not good at what you do, you cannot stand up to it. You will feel as you're going. So that's when I realized that, hey, I'm good at this, I'm really cool. So yeah, it was basically smooth flowing.
Do you remember one show in particular you did on that tour that always sticks out in your mind?
You mean in the early stages?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I wouldn't say one show. I think all the shows stuck out in my mind because he never did any one show the same way. Any show the same way. He always did a different show every night. Mm-hmm. And the audiences were so involved, and his audience were not Jamaicans. They were more foreigners. So for me, that was the first time being around so many. What would I say now? Caucasians and stuff like that. So I guess just that whole tour and just going to different venues and stuff and the work. I think everything just stayed in my mind up to this day.
Got you. You did that first tour there. Everything is good. So then now, when you got back to Jamaica, what happened next from there?
Oh my goodness. I'm getting old, You think I can remember all of that? What happened next? Yeah, I got back into my thing, doing my stuff with Boris Gardiner and all of them and stuff like that. And I just kept on moving. And then at the same time, while we were touring with Toots, I was actually touring with his daughters at 5446 mm-hmm. also. And they had a #1 song on this chart called Top of the Pops chart in London. Mm-hmm. So we had to be traveling to London to do Top of the Pops and stuff like that. And the whole works. And then when we came back, we were traveling the islands, doing our own tour. And it was just all over the place. And then after that, we started doing, his daughters, we started doing a few stints on the North Coast in Jamaica, mm-hmm. For, certain hotels and stuff and whatever. We didn't continue on that part for very long. After a while, that kind of died down. But that was basically it.
Okay, so then now you're doing all this work with groups and everybody else. When did you start to actually get into a studio to start recording for yourself?
While I was with Boris Gardiner, Boris recorded quite a few singles with myself. Mm-hmm. I did a single with Derek Harriott, alongside a collab with Derek Harriott. And I did... who else did I record for? Yeah, that was basically it. But during that whole whirlwind of a life and the music and stuff, the Japanese came to Jamaica. And they recruited me as one of the vocalists that they want to work with. So then again, I ended up at Penthouse again, because that was where the Japanese always work, Penthouse and Mixing Lab. I don't know if you're familiar with those studios.
For sure, 100%.
Yeah. And so I was back and forth and with them, and they started recording me as an artist also. You know, apart from me doing background vocal work for them, sometimes they recorded me as an artist, and they became so interested in me. It was a company called Tinga Records. They were the ones that used to do the big festival called Japan Splash in Japan for many years. Their interest in me grew so much that they like merged. They became like a sub label under Sony Japan. And Sony Japan started working with me also. So, you know, I ended up recording an album with them and stuff and whatever. And it was cool. It was like so cool.
With Mariah Carey covers?
Yes. And I mean, I had to be back and forth Japan. Like, Japan was like my second yard. You know, I had to be there doing promos and shows and stuff and whatever. And yes, that album did so well the first week it dropped in Japan, that from what I hear, you know, that a little birdie told me that Mariah Carey said that they should pull it.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was doing that good. That's wild. You know what I mean? Okay, so you're here. And how long were you with that company for?
I worked with them from maybe about 1990 to about 95.
So you did a good stint with them.
Yeah, because that is where Donovan Germain met me in Japan and recruited me to become a part of Penthouse.
Okay, listen how crazy this is. You went to Penthouse twice, all right?
Yeah.
All right, that's cool. But it wasn't until you got to Japan where Donovan Germain, the same owner from Penthouse, recruited you.
See him so. You know, it's like everybody, when they hear the story, they're like, you were just supposed to be at Penthouse, whether you like it or not. You were supposed to be at Penthouse, because at that time, I never saw Donovan Germain, you know, all them other times. And I don't even think he cared who I was. It's like, he was just Donovan Germain. So when I was in Japan now, and I guess he saw me perform, that is when he said, you know, I need to have a meeting with you. And that was where it all started.
From there, okay, so with Japan, and then we're going to go Penthouse 1 second. So you were like a bona fide star in Japan at that time, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was working with one of the top artists, top reggae artists called Naki at the time. And we had a major #1 song with Sony Records to Naki and myself. Yeah, Something Special. It's called Something Special.
How did it feel being like a superstar in another country, but then when you come home, you're just basically normal when you get back to Jamaica? How was that?
Well, to tell the truth, I never even looked at it that way, because everything just felt good to me. I never even thought about if the Jamaican people knew me or not. They knew me from my commercials and stuff on the radio and all of that. And there were quite a few, as I said, singles that I had done before. And those were getting little plays on like RJR and, you know, them little station and you hear yourself. But it never bothered me really, you know, because I was really cool with traveling.
You were just happy to be here in this whole situation. You're just happy to be here.
Yeah, because as I say, I never planned to do it. So with me just flowing like that, hey, I wasn't complaining.
I got you 100%. What was that conversation with Donovan Germain like?
Short, because Donovan Germain is a man of few words. So we just got to the point. And he said, okay, I saw you out there and whatever. And I want to know if you would love to become a part of the Penthouse crew. Mm-hmm. And for me here in Penthouse, it's like, I think maybe do that myself. When I heard it. Like Penthouse, nobody can even get to Penthouse gate. And I get it, and like an offer to join Penthouse. Yes.
So you were between the Sony and Penthouse, or your contract had finished and then you went to do strictly Penthouse?
I never had a contract with Sony per se, but because I was working with Takian, and I never had a contract with them either. We were just working. They just loved working with a set of us. And, that was just it. Everything they constantly came, and gave me as one of the artists that I worked with first priority. Mm-hmm. So when I went over to Germany and signed a contract with Penthouse, it never affected anything.
Got you. So, okay. So then your first real contract that you signed was for Penthouse.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. All right. This is where the story really takes off right now from the Penthouse side of things. When you got to Penthouse, who was there already as artists?
I remember seeing Cutty Ranks, Tony Rebel. You see Marcia Griffiths coming and out. You see Beres Hammond coming and out. And Wayne Wonder, for the most part, was there when I just went in. But afterwards, Buju too. A lot of us will forget Buju. Buju was there, but he was like the young Buju. You never did break out like big yet like crazy like that. He was like the young Buju.
That's wild there. All right. Donovan Germain said, come, you signed your contract here in Penthouse. What were some of the first movements you did when you got to Penthouse now?
There, as I said before, I just flowed because when I went in, I guess when he just recruited me, he had me probably doing some harmonies, like in the studio and stuff or whatever for the songs in studio. Mm-hmm. But then the first song he recorded with me was a song called, oh my gosh, it goes something like this. There's a danger in loving somebody. Yeah, so yeah, and I recorded that, and after that we just flew, because as soon as the rhythms came in, everybody in there had to find something for the rhythm, or you get left off of the train there, So that's just how it just flowed, There was nothing in particular that, no routine or anything like that. We just go with the flow and vibe and thing, and then it just took off from there.
Okay. And you were doing harmonies for other people plus you as a solo artist?
Yes. Yes. Especially for Buju and Wayne and stuff. I was doing most of their stuff in the studio.
What was it like working with a young Buju and Wayne Wonder?
Let me get to Wayne first. Wayne is a softer, sweeter type. Wayne was easy. Wayne was so easy to work with, and still is so easy to work with. Wayne is such a sweetheart. Even the other day we were talking and he said to me, Twiggy, sir, you're one of the easiest birds to work with, my sister. He says to me, I've never had a bad day with you, He says, you're always the sweetest person. So, no, it is there. But Buju's sweet. But Buju is Buju. And he was like my testy little brother at the time. So him would be so sweet to me, and then next time he just come and just irritate me. And then when I get mad at him, he's like, me, I thought this is Swigsy. Him call me Swigsy. But for me, from a musical perspective, my mind was blown. Because they were just so good at their craft. And they could just move as quickly as that, and I learned that from them, where You can't be a little slouch and act like you're free.
Mm-hmm.
You better be ready when the rhythm them come, yo. So that's and luckily my little boy side come out there, because I was always like a little tomboy, like when I was younger, a girly tomboy.
Mm-hmm.
And, so it's like that side of me came out because you have to be able to move with the boys, Marcia Griffiths was always one away and, she have somebody write her song or something like that. Me never have nobody write my songs for me and stuff. So I had to move with the flow. So watching me and Buju and Tony Rebel and Cutty Ranks and all these people, it was like mind blowing, because they were like really excellent at their craft.
Mm-hmm. A name you didn't bring up yet that I know did some recording over there was Garnet Silk. What was it like working with Garnet Silk?
Oh boy, he wanted me to work everywhere with him. And he wanted me, he had me going on tour with him too also. So look at this. Mm-hmm. Between him, going on tour with him, going on tour with Penthouse, doing Buju work, going on to work on my work, then flying over to go on tour with Toots. Because I toured with Toots for like 23 years of my life.
What?
Yeah, it was 2011 that I stopped touring now. I said, let me focus on me again. And, because when I was with him, I wasn't Twiggy. I was a Maytal. Mm-hmm. I was considered a Maytal. So I was in the background as a Maytal. So just imagine me doing all of these people tours and, being their supporting acts and on their songs in the studio, because if you listen to most, the artists we're talking about now, most of his harmonies are me.
Most of Garnet Silk's harmonies for Penthouse or for most of his songs, period?
For Bobby Digital, Penthouse, anyway.
You're the one doing the backgrounds.
Flashing, dashing, restless sea. All of them. All of them.
Wow. What was Garnet Silk like as a person?
I never knew much of that side of him because, we worked together and stuff. But, I was always a one-away girl, mm-hmm. And still is. So even though I worked with everybody, I never really hang with them and know them lifestyle to a depth like that. I just knew them as the artists. Just like even Buju, Mm-hmm. I never hung with Buju. The only time me and Buju used to communicate differently from when we were in the studio, mm-hmm. Buju used to call me 6 o'clock every morning and wake me up. Tracy, get up. I said, why we are waking up so early? I wake up long time and write 2 songs and pray, read my Bible and pray. Get up. But apart from that, we never hung, I never hung with Wayne. I was always just a lone ranger in a sense,
Yeah.
So to tell the truth, if I should say what their personalities were like differently from my experience in the studio, I would be lying.
All right. Okay. So then this one memory with Garnet Silk that sticks out forever in your mind.
Just how awesome he was as an entertainer and a vocalist, mm-hmm. Really, I mean, he was a genius and a powerful and awesome voice, mm-hmm. So that is what sticks out in my mind, really.
That right there, because you seem to have a super whirlwind career where it's like you're touring with other artists, you're doing your own songs, you're doing harmonies. It's like, when did you ever have time to, okay, give me a minute here, give me a break, let me figure this out, and then go again?
Well, whenever I went home, that was when I just shut down, locked down, They don't see me at parties and a lot of social functions, Mm-hmm. If they see me at a social function, everybody say, Hurricane or something, come. Because I was always so locked away. So I got time to to do me, but I was so young and vibrant at the time. So to tell the truth, me never feel like me get tired, you know. I was just, I just loved what I do. I loved what I did. And it just came out so naturally and so normally that I never stopped to think like, Lord, me tired or nothing. I never felt like that.
From there, what came first, your album for Penthouse or the Penthouse Celebration albums?
Penthouse Celebration albums.
Tell me about those, because again, when we're just listening to them on a record, it sounds like it's crazy vibes in the studio, but you were there and you were on these records. What was it like recording those there?
Crazy vibes. It was so cool. It was so cool. But you see, I can't tell you all the details, because if I tell you all the details, I might have to tie up in a basement. Everybody wants to know the depth of that dancehall thing. No, I'm not gonna be the little snitch. No, you guys gonna have to keep your imaginations rolling. But it was crazy vibe, you know. It was crazy vibe. And for the most part, when the mic come around to you, you get nervous, you know, because you have to keep the flow. It's like everybody was flowing on the dance rum, and everybody are coming with some wicked selection. So you better come with a wicked selection to say, yeah, it was a little nerve-wracking, but at the same time, there was just this little excitement, adrenaline, you know. It was pretty cool, you know. I wanted more of it.
Mm-hmm. How many of the albums were you on?
I think I was probably on more than maybe 4 of them or so.
Okay.
I'm not sure how many parts there were, to tell you the truth, but I think if my memory serves me right, about 3 or 4 of them, yeah?
Mm-hmm. All right, so you did the Penthouse Celebration. Now it's time to work on your album. What was that like?
The album itself wasn't a lot of hard work, because it was songs that I was doing over a period of time. Mm-hmm. And, you know, they weren't like released or anything else. So they were basically compiled. Mm-hmm. And I just added a few more tracks, you know, to make it up. But it was pretty much an easy task.
Mm-hmm. And that was good to go, because I know you have a song with Wayne Wonder, and I know you have a song with Buju. Which one came first?
Buju.
Tell me about that experience here, because that right there, that's a big song.
Oh yeah. That was a big song. That is still a big song. Mm-hmm. I remember when that rhythm dropped in the studio, you know. And everybody had to be writing, doing their stuff or whatever. And, you know, that chorus line just came to me. I want your love, need you now. Yeah, so I think I wrote that song in like 10 minutes. And I went around there and recorded it, I guess in less than half an hour or so too, you know. And then I guess Buju became excited about it, and you know, because you know he also has another song on that rhythm too. He has another song on that rhythm too, but he loved my, you know, what I had to offer, and you know, just enhance it.
And what did that song do for your career at that time there?
That song just made a lot of people know the voice. Mm-hmm. They knew the voice because a lot of them did not know the face or even the name. Mm-hmm. They just knew the voice because that song went worldwide. And I mean, everywhere I sang that song, people were like, it was crazy. You know, them time you're going at a dance, them like a club concert or something. Mm-hmm. And when you draw that song, You only see some big fire around at the back. At your I think the first time I heard that, I'd get ready to run. But then I'm like, oh, okay, it's a part of the thing. It's a part of the thing. Relax, you know. Yeah, that made a lot of people start getting like curious to know who is this girl, you know, because I wasn't really promoted as a face so much. Mm-hmm. You know, some people knew me, but for the most part, a lot of people knew the voice.
It's the voice. That was especially back then where there's no real internet or anything. It's just if I see you in a paper or on a show or something, oh, it's her. But generally, you wouldn't know.
Exactly.
And especially somebody that's done so much work up to that point, it's almost mind-boggling how people wouldn't know the face.
Yeah. Even now, a lot of people are just learning who I am, and you know, some people see me on the internet and they're following me, and then when I put up one of my old songs, they're like, let me give you a joke. I have a girlfriend in England, right? I met her in London years ago. I was around Pakistan at the time. And, you know, I went to a concert at her church, and, you know, she just took to me and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, she said, me I like to sing and me have all the thing and stuff, but she never knew the depth of who I was. Do you know that there is this new song that I have, right? And I got a write-up in the Jamaican Star last month, you know, on the song. And the writer, you know, Ralston Barrett, big up himself, he made notes of some of my hits, just some, maybe about 3 of them. Mm-hmm. My girlfriend called me the next day after I had come out, and she said, girl, I have a joke to give you. And I'm like, what's that? She's like, you know, we just talk to each other, but we don't really care about each other business and whatever. And I'm like, yeah, you know, we just love each other regardless of what. Mm-hmm. She said, well, I was reading the newspaper, and I said, let me go check out the name of these, you know, these songs that I see right about. And she said, let me see. I said, Ashi. And then she said, and then when I listen to the song, I said, Ashi, that again. And then she said, girl, I never know. She said, she said, I'm blown away. But here the bigger joke, my husband, when we just got married, he heard, I don't remember where we were, and he heard my song that says, where did the love go? You know? So he says to me, I love that song, yes, man. And he was just singing and dancing. I think we were in the house, and he heard it on the radio, and he was singing and dancing, and I'm like, yeah, I love it too, man. And him say, you know, I love that song for years. I always hear the song and dance and stuff. I do not know who sing it. Somebody said to him, say, you're kidding me, right? him said to me, say, no, Marie, because Marie called me. No, Marie, I don't know who sing it for real. I'm like, stop joking. He says, no, I'm not joking. You know who sing it? I said to him, it's me. In faint. Wow. He fainted on me. Yeah. Like, what?
That's so obviously he knew that you're a singer or what you're doing, but he just didn't know that song in particular was your song.
He never knew the depth, because what a lot of people say about me, and I know I'm like that. Mm-hmm. I am so humble and modest, and you know, so I'll be in a crowd and people don't even know I'm there, because I do not go with any hype, and I'm not a diva. And you know, I'm saying hi to everybody, and I'm smiling with everybody, and you know, not acting like no star or nothing. So a lot of people tend to overlook me. Even I have to whisper this part, even in my neighborhood. They think I'm a housewife.
And they'll invite you over for some tea and crumpets one at a time. All the women in the neighborhood say, hey, just come join us. You seem like you have nothing better to do.
I know, your husband is at work, so come and just, enjoy yourself because you're just there. And sometimes I'm not even here, Sometimes I'm away, flying all the way over, but they think you just locked up in a house. Oh, you can come and hang and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, is that big deal or no,
I think, you know what? I think you like it that way. That's almost a superpower for you, where you could still be somewhere and still be normal. But then when you hit the stage, that's when everything explodes.
That's what everybody says. Because I say, I like to be, no, there are quite a few people like around me, even in my neighborhood, that knows. Mm-hmm. But, my husband swore them to secrecy. But it's like you feel like when you go outside, all eyes are on you. And I hate that feeling, Mm-hmm. I just want to just be me. I just want to just chill and, just talk to people. And, the other day, one of my neighbor's wife, he knew, but his wife didn't know, And she took me somewhere. And she said when she came out, she said, her husband said to her, I said, who did I drive with? And she's like, Red's wife. Mm-hmm. And he's like, no, I know that. Whatever. And she said, but she don't seem like she want that excitement, mm-hmm. Around her. She just so normal and so chill. And that's exactly it. I just like to just be easygoing.
Easygoing, 100% right. All right, you told me about the Buju. Now the Wayne Wonder, this was more of a international market this song came out on, No More, at that, mm-hmm. with Wayne Wonder. How did you guys come up with that song there?
That song, oh my gosh, the rhythm drop. Mm-hmm. And as I say, everybody again, I don't even remember how Wayne and I came together to do it, Mm-hmm. I just know one time I remember Wayne and I sitting on the steps of Penthouse and working on that song, but I cannot tell you exactly how and when that idea came about. Mm-hmm. It's like, I just know we were there, and when the rhythm dropped, I guess I heard a part, and then we didn't hear something, and him just sing it, and the two of us just started just putting our thing together and just made a whole song,
You're right. One name we forgot to bring up that was at Penthouse too, Beres Hammond.
I said Beres Hammond earlier. I said he was passing through at the time with my Marcia Griffiths. Yeah, man. We forget Beres Hammond.
How is it now? Remember, how is this now linking with somebody like a Beres Hammond? This is Beres we're talking about, boss.
Guess what? Me have to tour with him too. Lot of Beres. Everybody wanted me. I have no idea why, but everybody wanted me around them to do their stuff and their tours and their whatever. So I was touring with Beres Hammond for a short period also.
And this was while he was at Penthouse?
While me I tour with Buju, to everybody, Toots everybody.
This is crazy. I knew your work was extensive, but I didn't realize it was this extensive.
Trust me, sometimes I have to remind myself that it's this extensive.
Because, okay, I'm going to read out a list for you, and I'm going to see if you realize how much work you did, okay? I know you did backing vocals for Burning Spear, mm-hmm. Steel Pulse, Sizzla, Beres Hammond, Luciano, Garnet Silk, Marcia Griffiths, Buju, Beenie Man, Lady Saw, and this list just goes on. And these were all, for the most part, these were all in studio. Mm-hmm. The road harmony never even, it wasn't even really listed there, But most of these people were all in studio because I became very, what would you say now? I became very much respected as a background vocalist, and everybody wanted me to be on their work, Mm-hmm. I mean, I started out
doing background vocals with the likes of like Pamal and Nadine Sutherland and JC Lodge and, Cynthia Slash, Sharon Forrester, all these people. And so I learned from the best. Mm-hmm. And plus I had an innate ability to do background vocals. But, being around them and Clive Hunt and these people working for all these international folks like Alpha Blondy, Pierre Paul Jack and all these people singing in French, singing background vocals in French, singing background vocals in Spanish, singing background vocals in Ivory Coast language, Swahili, the Japanese, the whole work. So I became respected as one of the top background vocalists in Jamaica. And then on top of that, Buju, I did a lot of Buju arrangements on his album, for like background vocals arrangements. So, Buju never want to leave me an inch like that. It's like, so it, the list goes on and on and on because a lot of the people in work, some of them I'll forget, I used to have them written down. It's so much background work I've done that some of them, when we hear the song, and I say, "Wow, that sounds like me." And then they say, "Yeah, that's you."
Yeah, wild. Because while you're doing all these backgrounds and stuff, you're still putting out your own songs, and there were hits too, like another song, "Do Me Baby." That one there, we know it's a cover, but why did you decide to sing that song there in particular?
I don't even remember, I just knew I loved that song when I was a young girl. There is something about that song, and the funny thing is, Lord, I'm not going to tell you this because it's going to be a little bit too TMI. But at the time when I even did "I Want Your Love" and "Do Me Baby," I was so innocent. I never even had a boyfriend. It was crazy, but I just have this thing where "Do Me Baby" was one of them songs that you used to hear it on the radio all the time, No, it's like, Lord have mercy. And so when I heard "Freedom Blues" Rhythm Now, us Jamaicans, we every time I think about it, I have to laugh because I'm like, us Jamaicans, we can take a song that's well arranged and composed and put it on a 2-card. And then when you listen, it's so wicked, like like the 2-card just change with the notes and everything. And it's like, okay. So when I heard that, no, I'm like, okay. And it's like, I don't know, "Do Me Baby" just came in my head. And I'm like, "Do Me Baby." And I'm like, it's working, And that's it.
And there you go. Another hit, and this one was off of the same album here too. The song is called "Where Did You Go?" Where did the love go?
Okay, where did the love go? I'm sure lots of people don't believe this, but I wrote this song when I was only a teenager. I wrote it because, all right, when I was younger, from age 5, I was writing, I was writing poetry and I was writing songs and singing them in church. And, I was constantly writing because I was so well read as a little youngster because I started reading from really early. Okay. My elder sister had given me my first big book to read at probably age 2. So, so I was always reading. So writing became such a big part of me, So when I was in high school, I was like into the whole writing thing so big that I remember sitting down and we used to read a lot of Mills and Boons and them kind of books and stuff. And I remember just sitting down one day and just feeling like I should write a song, and that song was just for my vivid imagination. Because me have an imagination when I stop, I'll drive myself nuts just imagining stuff that don't even happen yet, and then afterwards I say to myself, but yesterday told yourself it never happened. Yeah, so my vivid imagination, I had that song sitting down for years. So when I was at Penthouse now, and I heard, the tempo rhythm, no, it's not tempo. Oh my gosh, the sound. Oh, I can't remember the rhythm name. I was like, Oh, and I started like vibing that song on it, and it worked. And it's like, yeah, so I wrote that song from I was way young before I even knew I would even get into music. So that song was like preparation already, and it never even know.
That's wild just to know that. But again, your gift is not only your voice, but I think it's coupled with imagination, and that's where the magic happens right there.
Yes, because a lot of times I write songs and they have nothing to do with me.
Mm-hmm.
I write songs from what I see around me. Also, I write songs from, as I said before, my imagination, and I write songs sometimes from just a vibe, you know. I'll just watch something and then I'll hear something and it's like, just from what I heard out there, I might see a little butterfly just pass me, you know. And I just write a song, you know, not necessarily about the butterfly,
mm-hmm.
but so the butterfly floats into the air and then it just becomes this whole song, and it's like, okay, you know, so that's what it's a little gift that I have, because even in high school, I wrote 2 books while I was in high school. Yeah, and one of them was a romance novel, and as I said before, I was an innocent child,
mm-hmm.
very much a virgin, and no boyfriend, and I wrote this Bills and Boone type of book, and it circulated around the school. Everybody wanted to read it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it got lost somewhere or somebody steal it or something, but maybe it's a bestseller somewhere out there, you know, and I don't even know, because you know, at that time you just write, and them time I put like maybe 3 or 4 hardcover book together
mm-hmm.
with elastic, you know, to keep it together, and just wrote a book. And then I wrote a book of jokes, because I'm a serious joker. I love to talk. You should probably know that by now. I love to talk, and I just love to laugh, and I love to make others laugh. So I'm always talking crap. So I used to just write. I just wrote a book of jokes. I don't know where that ended up to. So, you know, as you say, it's not just the voice and whatever, but the gift of writing and my imagination and stuff. You know, it's like my imagination, you know, gets me into a lot of trouble, because even with my husband, mm-hmm. he would sit down and listen to a song and say, so, oh, you're right now and therefore. I mean, I said, we never write it for nobody. Mm-hmm. But so, oh, the song, the sound, so, yeah. I am like, whatever. You know, so, yeah. You know, it's a gift and it's a blessing.
Definitely. And I see you like to exercise it, because this is what you do. So even with the album, what did the album do for your career at that time there? It just made people know more of my work. Mm-hmm. And it opened up the doors a little bit more to, you know, tours, you know, with me being like you know, one of the artists on stage or whatever, because they realized that, she have a catalog that's extensive. You know, a lot of people still do not know much about my catalog, but when they hear my story and they go in and they check it out, they're like, I remember this guy, I did an interview in London, and this guy called in on the radio and he said, yo, on a catalog she have, you know, a lion logged up. You know, so yes, it made people know more about me and stuff, and you know, the name started circulating a lot more, and during them time, you know, they record for Bobby Digital too, you know, record for Fatties too, you know, but they record for High Power Records, but they record for all of the brand name producers I'm out there, and they had several hits with me also. Okay, so then let's go visit some of those guys here. Somebody like a Bobby Digital. What was it like working with Bobby?
Bobby was so cool. Bobby was so easygoing. Bobby not really talk much, you know. You always see Bobby and just look like he vex with you. But he was like in there toe to toe with you when you're recording, you know? Mm-hmm. You know, he was right there with you, and he was a very pleasant person to work with and stuff. And when Bobby love you, he really love you. And I remember he was the first person that called me to record a song for him and actually came with a contract and paid me.
Okay.
You know, a little small for the song for him and thing. And, you know, we started a relationship there, and, you know, we became really bonded after a while. You know, I did a lot of stuff for him and a lot of vocals, background vocals on his projects also.
That's where I guess you did the background vocals, because it could have been either one or two. It would have been either Bobby Digital or Fatis, where you did background vocals for Sizzla.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I did quite a few Sizzla songs too. Yeah, there.
Got you. Another name you just brought up was Fatis. What was it like working with Fatis now?
Fatis was the next one away one, you know. I work with all the people that everybody was scared and everybody was afraid to approach. Mm-hmm. But they were all so sweet to me, you know. I don't know if it come and just look like this little maga picnic, oh gosh. You know, like we just be nice, right? They were all so sweet to me, you know. So Fatis never talked much either. Fatis used to love and it was like a bad uptake. Not to me, you know. But they used to just, that's how it used to move. When him there around me, I always end up laughing or giving a joke at some point, you know. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I guess I could pull that out of Fatis a little bit, you know. But he was the next one that was very, you know, in depth and stuff, and it was all about his vocals and the productions, you know. He was into that. A lot of people don't know that working with Fatis, I did a collab with Luciano, and Luciano was bald. What?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's why. And the funny thing with it, I just seen Luciano post something today, say that he celebrated his 30 years in music.
Yes, I saw it too. So that means I'm older than Lucy. Because me about 32 in night now.
That's so wild to think that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
This is somebody else where you now went like basically across the aisle. Shocking Vibes. All right. How did you link with Patrick Rabbits over with Shocking Vibes?
Well, when I just started going to Penthouse, mm-hmm. Shocking Vibes used to work out of Penthouse. Mm-hmm. So when Patrick Roberts and Beenie Man and Tonta Metro and Nico Kirk and stuff and all them used to come through, we were all like a family. Mm-hmm. You know, because Patrick is such a joker too, you know. He is really, really mischievous and mischievous. Oh, wow. Mischievous. Yes. And, you know, we were just one big family. And then eventually there was Music Works across from Penthouse in the same yard. So after Music Works, after Gussie left and went on to build an empire down the road, mm-hmm. Patrick Roberts took over that building. So we were always side to side, hanging with each other, being a family and stuff. And so I used to go over there and record like I don't remember if I recorded No Getting Over That Rainbow or I Wanna Run to You. Ooh, ooh. A lot of people don't even know them Shocking Vibes song they know. Or the rhythm they go. Oh my gosh, it was one of them simple rhythms. Mm-hmm. I know when you look at me. But yeah, so we were just working with each other. And then when Shocking Vibes now moved their headquarters and went to build their empire further up the road, you know, I was still around them from time to time. And then after I left Penthouse, you know, Shocking Vibes grabbed me again, you know. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it was like smooth. It was so easy working with Patrick and, you know, the Shocking Vibes crew.
Because I know one song in particular, I even had to go back today and listen to it, was the Beenie Man song. Bounce,
bounce, bounce, bounce. But I got them just really want me. Yeah.
When I went back and listened to it, I said, holy smokes. You know, when you listen to a song and you just hear it in passing, but then you really sit down and listen to it, I said, listen, this is really Twiggy. It's almost like that song was almost like a combination song with you and him.
And actually, I started out just doing vocals, but then by the time we're done, Patrick, they said, no, man. No, sir. This is like a combination song, yeah. And a lot of people all over the world that hears that song, and when they find out it's me, they say, yeah. They always speak of it as a combination song. You know, which other song, which that one I can understand, but there's another song that I did that people consider a combination song, and I'm like, it's not a combination. I did Tyrone Bobby did shout from Mikey Spice. Let us go into the it's all right. And everybody plays that song as a combination song. And I'm like, if we didn't know say a combination, we would have do some like extra special things. You know, but it's so yeah. You know, I have the tendency to overwork myself sometimes.
You're doing all of these great things here and all of this whirlwind. At what point did you learn the business of the business?
This is going to come as a big surprise, but it's not until in the late 2000s that I learned the business, yeah, because when we were younger and just doing the thing, it's like nobody was guiding us, you know? And I know I'm not the only one in the business that, you know, can say that. We all went through that. There was nobody guiding us. Nobody taught us that it was our business. You always hear the music business, but you don't think that's what it means. But you never know the depth of it, you know? So it was after years of going through your whole little stuff them and, you know, little isms and schisms and stuff. It was when 2009 I self-produced an album. I was the executive producer and stuff, and that's when I started learning the real depth of the thing and publishing and, you know, copyright and the whole works and all these societies that you have to join to make sure you cover your grounds and stuff. So it was that project that actually gave me more insight. Because, yeah, when we were younger, we joined PRS in London and stuff and whatever. But I was basically it. You just know, say, everybody would join PRS and you just join PRS, but you really don't know why you're really joining PRS and what to expect, you know? So it's 2009 that I really got a quick lesson about the business, and that's when I realized, you got to get it together. And there were a lot of things that were already messed up that you can't even fix again. Some that you can still try to retrieve, was a lot of work. But then now when you started doing your own project, you realize you have to cover your ground.
All bases. And this album that you're speaking about, this is the Sun is Shining Through album. This was more of an inspirational gospel album you're speaking about.
Right. Exactly. So, you know, that I was given the unction by the Spirit of the Father to do that album, because a lot of people may know and a lot of people may not know I'm very close to my God. You know, I grew up in the church. You know, I grew up loving the Creator, you know, for whoever the Creator is and whatever. And, you know, I've always had a heart for God. So in everything I did and still do, the Most High God have to come first. You know, I try to stay within my boundaries. So I remember when I got the word in my spirit to do this album, I was like, huh? I don't know. I've never produced before. I know how to do these things, but I have never done a project on my own. So, you know, but then how it happened, how I knew it was the Most High God, because whenever Father God give me any word and thing to do, he always gives me the confirmation and paves the way. So when I'm like, okay, Father God, what I do? I dreamt most of the songs on that album.
Okay.
Yeah. Most of them, some in part, some in full. And I remember one in particular, The Sun Shines Through. I remember I dreamt that Benji Myers would help me with that. And Benji Myers, I buck up Benji Myers out after years, whatever, and I said, Benji, would you? And he said, yes, when you ready, man. And it's and this is no lie, you know. The exact way of my dream is something, maybe if I could tell Benji nothing. Benji just playing it, something, it blew my mind, you know. And then, how Father God had it, he made every single person that did something with me on that album, they never charged me a dime.
Okay.
The only thing I had to pay for was just to get the copies and the CDs and register them and the whole works. But I never had to pay a dime for anything else. So it was an album that I had to do. And then, you know, Father God kept on giving me instructions of what to do. And this is all in my spirit, like not nobody had tell me.
For sure.
Kept on giving me instructions. Because I have a gift like that too. Where once I'm in that zone, I can hear from the Father, you know? And so it's like, you say, yo, this album, this is not for church people. This is for the same people that you're always performing from, whatever. And me did I walk straight and say, okay, not for church people. I'm going to book up on 2 little church people. And them say, yes, you forget the album, okay, yeah. And we want to do something funny time thing. And then all of a sudden we start go the way with God said enough to go, you know. And you know, that album was, he sent this at the time he was a big PR person from California, you know, Russell Gerlach. And Russell Gerlach come and said, I want to help you with that album. And Russell Gerlach took that album. He sent me packages, maybe over 100 packages. At that time, he used to have to send out your things to the radio and stuff.
Yes.
With all the radio disc jockeys and stuff, all the radio stations and stuff. And just said, just mail them out. So I just had to put a CD in the package and just mail them out. That's all. And then somehow Russell Gerlach at one point now made that album, like he took that album to, you know, like, I guess to the Academy. And it was one of them that was like, how they call it now, before the actual nominations, like it was eligible.
Yes. To
be nominated. And trust me, where Father God did tell me that the album they did forgo because of my disobedience and gone round there so with the church people. It just never go there. And so it's like, yeah, that was the album that I did. And you know, right now, as a matter of fact, I got a message, not a message, I got a letter from Halifax in 2017 or 2016. And a message I said that someone actually like sang over one of the songs on the album, a white pop artist from Europe. Okay? I mean, say, how did you even get that? Where did you even find it?
It's music. You see, the trick with music is once it's out in the world, it goes anywhere and you never know. Even right now, while we're doing this interview, there's somebody, even if it's one person in this world, listening to your songs and loving them right now, you know.
Yeah, it's just like my song "It's Too Late" from Penthouse. You know, on the Champion Rhythm. Yeah, it's too late. After it's too late, hitting Jamaica and in America and other places, Canada and stuff. Years after, like maybe 10 years after, you hear it's too late. Not 10, maybe 8 years. It's too late. The biggest singer in Africa since the Beatles song called Michelle. And it's still so huge there. That's what made the Africans like love me. The Africans like super love me. And then last year, some people from India find me and they say, yo, it's too late. It's like, it's a bit up here. So just like you say, you know, you never know, you know, you do one little something and you frighten, it go all over the place.
Crazy. When did you, because I know you won a Grammy for works you did with Toots. When was that? Was that something that came lately?
Yes, it was 2020. We got it in 2024. Yes, I got it this year, 2021, for the 2020 nominations. Yeah.
Good. How did that make you feel to say, okay, this is Grammy. This isn't whatever. This is Grammy. This is the highest achievement that any musical artist could get right now. What did that feel like?
I was just in awe because Naya, as we called him, you know, he had given me a little idea that he wanted to include, you know, a specific song, you know, do myself on that, but I never followed it. Jamaica, I say, bring it or carry it. And, you know, it's like when after he died, right? He dreamt me, and I saw his daughter Liba and myself talking to him, and he said to both of us, I have a gift for both of you. And in the dream, I was saying to myself, even though he's dead, he's still giving, you know? And he says that, you know, I have something for both of you. And I woke up out of the dream and I was saying to myself, what that mean? You know, what that mean? And them time I didn't even realize that he was going to be nominated or anything as yet. And so it's like, okay, so I pondered on it and I prayed about it, like, give me the weight name day. Let me know what this means. And by the end of the day, in my spirit, I heard it's a Grammy. It's a Grammy, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. So when I heard he was nominated, I knew that he was going to win. I knew it. Nobody could tell me nothing. We could have all bet some billions of dollars. I him did have a win because me I get it. And that's exactly what happened.
That's super wild. I'm telling you, your journey has been so super amazing. And that brings us right to your brand new song that you put out in 2021. All right. When I think about you. And this is back at your original stable, Penthouse. How did you come up with that song? And why did you decide to do it at Penthouse?
There you go again. Penthouse, like Penthouse, tie me. Jeremy and I, you know, even when I wasn't there anymore, Jeremy and I were still working, you know, but a lot of people don't know, you know, because as I say, I don't walk around with a placard on my back and whatever, you know. You know, from time to time, we just going to Germany and we just flow same way, you know. So I remember hearing that rhythm, and, you know, he actually gave me that rhythm and two other rhythms to work with and stuff. And, you know, I did what I had to do. And when I think about you, was one of them. Another song from my vivid imagination, you know, because me never think about nobody. You know, I know if my husband hear it now, he might say, so it's who you did that think about? Hey, you're right, that's something like you really think about somebody, you know. And for me, I wasn't thinking about anybody. I was just writing the song and it just flowed like that, you know. So that's basically it. It was as simple as that. No big, nothing, you know, just that come to me and we just write it, you know. And, you know, Jeremy and I, we kept on working after that because even last year, we were in the studios a lot too, and a lot of people don't know, we have other tracks that we're working on and stuff, so Penthouse and Twiggy, we just coming like a romance.
Trust me, your journey in this business has been nothing short of amazing. I got 2 questions left for you, okay? First of all, I should have asked you this from the beginning of the interview. How did you get your name?
Some KC boys, because as I say, I was a little girly tomboy, and I am still a girly tomboy, but I used to always hang with the boys. And so I was a St. Jude's girl, and, KC was our brother school. The KC boys and me, we were very, very close, I had a few JC and Calabar friends and stuff, but the KC boys was the main ones, and they called me Tweety because they said, you sing like a bird. And so, sometimes them see me and we walk up in Crossroads and, KC boys are brawling and I'm about Tweety, but it always sounded like Twiggy to me. So after a while I said to them, why don't we change the name to Twiggy, because it rolls off your tongue a little better, not knowing that there was another Twiggy somewhere out there, white Twiggy. It's until I went to London in 1990 and I was in the car and people were flocking the car saying, we want to see the Jamaican Twiggy, we want to see the Jamaican Twiggy. I'm like, what are you talking about? And they let me know, but she's an actress and a singer and a model. So, they were curious to see the Jamaican one. So eventually that's why I changed the name. Because if you notice, in my early stages, it was spelled Twiggy.
Yes.
But then after I found that out, I changed it to an I.
Got
so to avoid copyright infringement issues,
Got you. Amazing career. You've been all over the place. What corner of the earth have you not been to yet?
Okay, I know I have not been to Dubai. And that's where my music played on there. But never got on there. Sorry. And I've never been to Egypt, that side. But everywhere else, I can basically say that I have been to, yeah.
All 4 corners of the earth.
Yes, a blessing,
That is insane. Insane. Listen, before I get you out of here, now the floor is yours. Any big ups, anything you want to say, leave some social media contacts, anything if they want dub plates, anything. The floor is yours right now.
Okay, and also there was another song that came out in 2021 too called Never Let Us Down.
Yes.
That was done by UK producer and stuff, and it got a lot of
Professor.
Yes, and Mad Professor, I came out on his album Sister to Sister, and also a song produced by Juba White and Simmer Down, called Break Free, came out in 2020 and stuff, and not more for come out with 2022, God's will and stuff, and it's gonna be a whole different ball game, little dancer together come out back.
Girl, man. Star girl.
Yeah, but to find me, on my social media platforms, including YouTube, and I'm getting my Spotify thing sorted out because it's kind of like somebody has put it up. I didn't put it up, so I'm sorting that out. But everything is Twiggy music except Twitter. Twitter is Twiggy Bird. So for Facebook, Twiggy Music Twiggy, Instagram, Twiggy Music, my YouTube channel, Twiggy Music, every single thing, Twiggy Music. If you even want to find anything on me, because I have a French guy that did my website for me, so it's a little weird how he did it. So most people, if they're looking up Twiggy, they might see the other Twiggy mixed up with my thing. Look up Twiggy Music, TWIGGIMUSIC music. That is what you look on Google, and you will find everything, my website, my social media platforms, anything Twiggy at Twiggy Music.
Just like that. Twiggy, get us out of here with something. Just give us some song before we go.
In the pouring rain, the skies are blue when I think about you. I think about you. In the winter clouds, the sun shines through. When I think about you, I feel warm when it is cold outside. When I think about you, I think about you. My emotions I just can't hide when I think about you. And that's When I Think About You, 2021 release, September 2021, Penthouse Records.
Twiggy, this has been an amazing conversation. Just to see 5% into your journey was amazing conversation. Thank you for sitting down with us today and doing this.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoy talking to you. And yes, that's just 5%, because we never even go in depth. We're going to have a part 2 and 3 and 4. Yeah.
The door is always open, and I'm definitely looking forward to speaking to you again sooner rather than later.
Thank you. And you have a wonderful year ahead, and you keep up the good work, Zine. Keep on letting people know the good music and letting people know the artists them out there that deserve, to shine a little bit. So I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Let me give you an outro and get you out of here for now, okay?
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Muscle, and this has been another Two Line Music Hut's Entertainment Report podcast, and we are out. This podcast is brought to you by www.twolinedmusichut.com.